Breaking news coming out of Tuesday's press conference. Ithaca College and Corsica will be heading to the Bronx for the 2022 Corsica Jug. This is coming off the tail of 2019's Corsica Jug from MetLife Stadium that saw over 45,000 in attendance. With more, here's Kyle DeSantis. Moving from the quarterback positions to the receivers, how do you think Vito and Anderson have found themselves complimenting each other here? Because that's a dynamic duo right there. Yep. We need to go to break soon here, but I need to ask you one more question. How was that fan atmosphere in the second half? Because they really came alive. Haber, a blocked punt for you, and when I look at blocked punts, the first thing I think of is effort. First thing I think of is giving 110%. First thing I think of is imposing your will. Take me through the blocked punt play. Take me through what was going through your head and getting to that punter. Fantastic job for the defense. A fantastic job for you, Quinn. Thank you for coming on, and we'll see you on a little bit in our 4th and Goal debate. But coming up next, right after the break, we have our brand new X's and O's segment, something you're not going to want to miss. Stick it right here on the Gridiron Report.
Get it to Crowley in space, and this is what I'm talking about when I say utilizing space. Get off me. You can't bring me down. That is the definition of utilizing space right there.
And what I love about that is something that you don't notice there is the Ithaca sideline popping off, saying, this is the greatest thing we ever see in the world. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Hey, I think that segment was so great. I think I'm ready to go out there right now. Hey, tell me, put me out there on the field right now. You look left and right. I'm going to be there ready for you right there, shot. Yeah, I'll be there ready for you.
I love it. I love it.
Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up with the latest info about the show. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at ICTV Sports and on Twitter at ICTV Sports 607. Stay on the edge of your seats because after the break, the iconic 4th and Goal debate, Quentin Pelzel, Owen Donahue, and Brady Lynch join the show and give their thoughts on all things Bomber football. You know, Dylan, I like to do a lot of cooking myself, some chicken and rice, get some beef and mashed potatoes. It's all good, but you have to have the right recipe. That's what's important. You have no salt and pepper with it, that's going to be a big problem, especially when I need some adobo with it as well. What is the recipe for Big Red to get a win over Yale, which would obviously take them not only through the playoffs, but possibly to the ECAC final? Locked and loaded here after a big win for the Bombers this past Saturday, taking down Union. We missed them last week, our Players of the Week, but always an honor to have them on. Our Players of the Week once again. Starting on defense, Ed Long has had himself a day, earning 7 tackles with 1.5 sacks for 10 yards and 2.5 tackles for a loss of 17 yards. The beast from the East never fails to impress, and also joining us representing special teams. This man hit 4 field goals in a single game, which set a new school record for most field goals in a season and tied a record for most field goals in a game, which stood 55 years, who some may call the king. Nick Bahamonde, and Ed, I just want you to come with me real quick. I just want you to take a look at this man. Wow, look at this person with the hair and the hat, living his best life. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
How you doing, my boy? I just want to ask you, how are you doing? Because
I'm good.
I've been waiting a long time to have you on. Specifically, how you feeling?
I'm good. It's a good life, It was rough last week, but this one is a good rebound,
We'll get into your trials and tribulations, and honestly, you couldn't have scripted it any better, but we'll get into it a little bit later. Ed, I want to start with you here, especially after this game against Union. Oh my goodness. You were on a few weeks back and we talked, and you talked about how great this defense was and how great you guys are playing, but I feel like you guys really showed it against Union. We did a lot of the barking, as you say, and you guys love to bark all the time.
Yeah,
you really showed a great amount of bite against Union.
Right, yeah.
Now in the second half, Jonathan Anderson Carey is forced out by Jalen Martinez and is scooped up by the big man, Ashton Hurd, looking like Thor himself running down the sideline, but is pushed out of bounds. Turnover is now in the favor of the Bombers in this one. Here is Nick Bahamonde again, field goal attempt from 28 yards out. Kick is good. Kick so sweet that the picturesque shot in the background could be used to be sold on postcards. Ithaca offense getting the job done once again, this time on the ground. Jake Williams like a bowling ball on the score. Bombers up by 3 scores. The Dutchman's looking for a big play, and no greater big player to do that for you than Andre Ross Jr. hauls in the deep ball from William Bellamy and scores on a 57-yard touchdown. He's been dubbed the Cuban highlight reel for a reason. Union with the ball back with 10 minutes left in the 4th. Bellamy looking for another big play, but the deep ball is picked off by Ithaca's favorite video game character, Derek Sluka. That would be DS's 4th interception of the season. Mr. Nintendo living up to to his namesake. Late here in the fourth, earlier in the game, Ithaca's defense was told to stop barking on defense. Well, forget the bark. Jalen Martinez will just maul your head off. A huge tackle on fourth down. Bombers victorious against the 11th ranked Union Dutchman. The 18th ranked Cornell taking on St. Lawrence at Line of Rink this past weekend. 2 minutes into the first period, a mosh pit right in front of the crease. Shane is able to defend for the moment and gather himself, but another shot on net and rebound allows for Riley Moran to score. Moran has goals in back-to-back games, but only his fourth on the season. Cornell down a goal and still scoreless midway through the second. Kyle Betts with a beautiful backhand goal. Betts on fire as of late, coming off the back of a 20-plus goalless game drought. Now, in overtime, David Jankowski takes the pass, centers himself, and scores on a shot that just trickled by the freshman goaltender. The senior from Waterdown, Ontario, Canada, gives Cornell their first overtime loss of the season by a final score of 1-2. Moving into Saturday, Cornell facing the Clarkson Golden Knights, and Andrei Pesnitska scores a power play goal, the freshman forward giving the Big Red a hot start midway through the first. Now, moving over into the second. A game still closely contested. Matt Steinberg with a rebound and another power play goal for Cornell. The Big Red scored 2 power play goals, in this one tied for the most this season. Ben Bernard from the blue line, a lamplighter giving Cornell a 3-0 lead. This is the first time Cornell has a 3-0 lead since their win back against Yale in mid-January. In the waning minutes of the second period, Clarkson with a 2-man advantage finds their leading goal scorer in Anthony Romano. The action wouldn't stop there as Cornell's 3-0 lead would shrink to just 1 goal advantage, all done in the final 2 minutes of the second period. No fear, Kyle Betts is here. A 3-game stretch with a goal in each. That one would bring the Big Red to a 4-2 lead. Betts would end the night with 2 goals totaling, along with his teammate Pesnitska, who both scored empty netters to bring the final score to 6-2. This Cornell win snaps the Golden Knights' 11-game winning streak, finally coming to an end last Saturday.